What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I would like to talk about my keys to victory for defeating the Seattle Seahawks in Week 1. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that like button for your boy. I appreciate you guys continuing to tune into the channel. But without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So in this video, I do want to talk about the Atlanta Falcons' keys to victory for defeating the Seattle Seahawks this week in Week 1. So the first key to victory will be to contain Russell Wilson. I do think that Russell Wilson is one of the best quarterbacks in the game. He's definitely a top 5 quarterback. In my book, he's a top 3 quarterback. And it's very important in this game to keep Russell Wilson in the pocket. Do not allow him to scramble around in this game. Our defensive line is going to be very important that they keep their gap integrity, that they be very gap oriented to make plays in this game. Our defensive ends and our defensive tackles are going to have to bring pressure up the middle. For our defensive ends, they have to make sure they keep Russell Wilson inside. So they have to make sure that they don't allow him to get outside of the pocket. So we kind of may want to run like a wide 9 type defensive front. I seen on Twitter, Harry Douglas, and I put it on my Twitter. Harry Douglas had a picture of last season when the Falcons faced the Seahawks, and they did a good job in the second half of spreading the defensive line out, making sure he wasn't getting outside and keeping that outside leverage, and making Russell Wilson throw the ball from the pocket. Now, don't get me wrong. Russell Wilson is a good enough quarterback to beat us from playing in the pocket, but that's where we want him to beat us from, is playing in the pocket. Because when he scrambles outside, to me, Russell Wilson is the best off-script thrower in the NFL. To me, he's the best off-script type quarterback. He's very good at scrambling outside. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks with throwing the ball down the field, 25 plus yards. Last year, he threw for 31 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions. So that just shows you that he's a great decision maker with the football, and he's a very accurate thrower when he throws the deep ball. So it's very important in this game that our defensive ends keep that outside leverage. Our defensive tackles, Grady Jarrett, if Marlon Davidson plays, John Kaminsky, Allen Bailey, those guys that's bringing pressure up the middle. We're going to really need those guys to have a big game and bring pressure up the center of the teeth of the defense, the teeth of the offensive line. Tat McKinley and Dante Fowler and those guys, Charles Harris, they're going to have to do a good job of bracketing Russell Wilson and making him throw the ball from the pocket. And if we do that, I really think that we're going to be able to contain him, and we'll be able to control the tempo of the game, and we'll be able to control Russell Wilson and not allow him to be the great playmaker that he is and the improviser that he is, because he's great off script. Like I said, to me, he's like Houdini. He's one of the best at it with scrambling around and finding a wide open man down the field. Tyler Lockett is one of those guys that he loves to throw the deep ball to off script. Him and DK Metcalf. So we're going to have our hands full in that secondary, and we're definitely going to have to do a good job at trying to contain Russell Wilson. We're not going to be able to stop him in this game because he's one of those players that's impossible to stop unless he gets injured for any reason. It's not really a way to stop Russell Wilson, but we're going to definitely have to contain him and make sure we're keeping him in the pocket and preventing those off-script plays. My second key to victory is going to be the big plays. We can't allow a bunch of deep shots in this game. We can't allow a bunch of explosive plays, as Dan Quinn calls them, those plays that are 20 plus yards. We can't have a bunch of those in this game. We have to limit Russell Wilson and that offense. Our defense, Isaiah Oliver, who it looks like is going to get the start, AJ Terrell, the rookie. Those guys are going to have their hands full with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Also, they did bring back Josh Gordon for the Seattle Seahawks. I'm not too sure if he's going to play this week, but he's one of those guys. Sometimes they like to throw in a slot or throw outside, and he's a bigger body receiver. That's a possession receiver, kind of like Mohamed Sanu, that can high point the football and that uses his brute strength and his long arms to catch passes for Josh Gordon. He's one of those guys that when he was on the Browns, he was one of the best wide receivers in the game. He's kind of taken a little bit of a step back due to him being suspended due to substance abuse. But we're going to have our hands full with this offense of the Seattle Seahawks. Like I said, we're going to have to prevent those 20 plus explosive plays down the field. They did add Greg Olsen from the Panthers. He's another guy that can run up the seams. So Afoye Aluakon is going to have his hands full in game one. Him and Deion Jones are going to have to do a good job in coverage. We're going to have to do a great job of disguising what we're doing on the back end. We can't show our hand to Russell Wilson because he's too good of a quarterback, too accurate of a quarterback. And if we show our hand and we show our cover three, he's going to know where to find the gaps, and he's going to know how to hit those gaps with the pass. Another thing that we have to be very careful of in this game with AJ Terrell, who's a rookie, he's going to have to be very careful about being ultra aggressive because DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are those guys that can do those double moves. They have great speed on the outside, and they can do a ton of damage if you misread a play. If AJ Terrell is peeking in the backfield, him and Isaiah Oliver in our corners, if they're playing overly aggressive, it can be a detriment to our team. So they have to play within themselves in this game, especially because Russell Wilson is a veteran quarterback and he's one of the best in the league. Now, key to victory number 3 is going to be stopping the run. The Atlanta Falcons must stop the run in this game. Grady Jarrett, Allen Bailey, Tyler Davison, Marlon Davidson. We're going to need all of those guys, all hands on deck to stop the run game. We all know that Deion Jones loves to fly sideline to sideline and shut things down. So we're definitely going to have to stop the run in this game. Seattle is known for being a top 5 rushing team over the last couple seasons. I believe in 2018, they were the number 1 rushing team in the league between Russell Wilson and the running backs that they had, the slew of running backs that they had. This year, Chris Carson, I heard, is kind of nicked up. But they did go and pick up Carlos Hyde. They do have a kid by the name of Travis Homer, who's kind of that scat back. He's another guy that's very good and quick on the outside of catching tosses and catching passes out of the backfield. But we all know that the Seahawks like to pound the football. They're a run-first team. Even though they have one of the best quarterbacks in the game, they don't have the best offensive line. So Pete Carroll tries to cover up the offensive line's weaknesses by running the football. And we know a quarterback's best friend is the running game. So they're definitely going to try to pound the rock in this game between Carlos Hyde, if Chris Carson plays, and Travis Homer. They also have a kid by the name of DJ Dallas that actually attended the University of Miami. He's a Miami Hurricane. He's another guy that they have at running back that they brought in. He's a rookie. He's another guy that can make plays out of the backfield. So we're going to have our hands full with that 4-headed monster that they have out of the backfield, plus accounting for Russell Wilson. I definitely think in this game we're going to have some type of spy on Russell Wilson, whether it's Deion Jones or whether it's Afoye Aluakon. Both of those guys are athletic enough to spy on Russell Wilson and make sure he doesn't get outside the pocket. But like I was saying, that's easier said than done. So stopping the run is going to be very important in this game. Our big boys up front are going to have to put their big pass on, and they're going to have to be ready for a dogfight up front. Now, my 4th key to victory will be the Atlanta Falcons scoring in the red zone, scoring touchdowns. We must score touchdowns. If we get in the red zone within the 20-yard line, we must score touchdowns. We can't be kicking a bunch of field goals because touchdowns win you football games. Field goals lose you games. So it's going to be very, very imperative and important in this game that when we do get in the red zone, that we score touchdowns. I really think that Todd Gurley is going to have a big season for us, and I think he's going to be an upgrade over Devontae Freeman this season. I do believe that our offensive line is going to play much better with Chris Lindstrom being back from the ankle or the broken foot last year. Him and Caleb McGarry on that right side, solidifying that right side of the line. James Carpenter, the left tackle, him and Matt Hennessy will be coming in and out with that left guard position. But we all know that Jake Matthews, and Alex Mack are two of the best guys at their position. So it's going to be, we're going to count on those guys up front to open up holes for Brian Hill and for Todd Gurley and Ito Smith and those guys on Sunday. But I do believe when we get in the red zone, that fourth key to victory, we must score touchdowns. Last season, we struggled in the red zone, and that really cost us some big games last year. And that really can cost you some close games if you're not scoring touchdowns and you're kicking a bunch of field goals. Russell Wilson is one of those guys that's very explosive. They have an explosive offense, and we want to make sure that we're scoring enough points. So I definitely think that we have the personnel on offense to score points in the red zone, to score touchdowns. And I really think, like I was saying, that Todd Gurley is going to be a huge addition when we get in within the 20-yard line. Todd Gurley is one of those guys that has a nose for the end zone. He's had double-digit touchdowns pretty much every season since he's been in the NFL. Even on the bum knee last year, he had about 14 touchdowns. So I'm expecting a big game from Todd Gurley, especially as far as scoring touchdowns in the red zone. I'm looking for us to be able to punch it in and play physical. One downfall for the Seattle Seahawks is they don't have the best defense. So I'm looking at the Falcons should at least be able to score at least 21 points in this game, if not more, because the Seahawks did lose Jadeveon Clowney, who was their pass rush specialist. They also did lose on that defense a bunch of guys on the defensive line. So I really think that Poona Ford is one of those guys that you want to keep an eye on. I believe he wears the number 97, like Grady Jarrett, and he's a run stopper, but he also can rush the passer from that nose tackle position. But like I was saying, they're trying to do it by committee there in Seattle. I can't even really name all of the defensive linemen they have because they have so many young guys on that defensive line. They don't have a lot of household names over there. I do know that they have Bruce Irvin back, who we signed a couple years ago on like a 1-year deal. Bruce Irvin is back in Seattle, but he's like an outside linebacker type. He's not the best at being able to shed blocks at this point in his career because Bruce Irvin is an older outside linebacker or defensive end. So I'm not too worried about him. I really think that we're going to be able to run the ball very well because Seattle's another team that's a smallish type of team. They like to play those smallish, fast cornerbacks and nickelbacks as well, just like the Falcons. Their schedule is a little bit different than us. But with that being said, you guys let me know what you think about the video. Those are my 4 keys to victory for our Atlanta Falcons for being able to win this game on Sunday. Number 1, stop Russell Wilson, contain him. Number 2, prevent the explosive plays, the deep plays down the field, even explosive runs. Number 3, stop the run up front. We're going to need those guys to put on their big boy pads and strap up those chin straps and take advantage of the offensive line, the weak offensive line of the Seattle Seahawks. And number 4, a key to victory is scoring points in the red zone. We must score touchdowns in the red zone. If we do those 4 things, I really think that we're going to be very successful in this game. I do believe that the Falcons will win this game. If you know and you've been following my channel, I don't like to do score predictions. I would just say that the Falcons are going to win a close game on Sunday. I really think that we have to protect home field, and we will be at home on Sunday in the confines of our own Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But with that being said, this has been your boy Jew. I'll holler at you guys in the next video. And as always, Falcons Nation, we rise up. Peace. Peace up, A-Town down. And y'all guys, you definitely go hit that subscribe button below. I appreciate you guys. Peace and love. And I'll holler at you guys.